All right, so yesterday we talked about the 10 basic functions. Today we are going to talk about how we can take those 10 basic functions and combine them in different ways to make new and more powerful Photoshop. And there's a couple different ways that you can do it, and we talked about this last year. So you're going to go, oh yeah, piece of cake. Yeah, homework's going to be easy. There's a couple different ways. We're going to focus on the easier way today, and then we're going to do the crazy stuff on Tuesday. But like I said, both of them we have done before. So let's say you have two functions.
Do we have to write this? Would it behoove us?
Sure.
You ready? Yeah.
So you're going to start with two functions, and we're going to call one of them f as in f of x. We're going to call the other one g as in g of x.
Oh,
You named them after me. Thank you.
Yes.
I like it.
Forrest Gunn-Wallace. What?
Like
Makes it easier on me. Okay. So there are some exciting ways that we can combine these, and like I said, this is really easy, but we'll go through it anyway. You can do the sum of the two functions, okay? And the sum of the two functions, you would say f plus g of x, and that, not surprisingly, is equal to the first one plus the second one, okay? It is crazy.
We literally did this last year.
We literally did this last year.
I don't remember it.
What's another way do you think we could define a new function?
Foil it.
I mean, we could define
Foiling is a way of
not doing
the parentheses. You are multiplication. Okay, so that's another way that we could do it. We could do the product
Do we get
of two functions, and the way you would write that is f times g of x, and guess what that would equal?
the same thing.
What's that? F of x times
G of x?
g of x. Okay, I left a little space there because we skipped one. Gabe?
What's the one with like the subtraction?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do on Tuesday.
Subtraction.
That's a composite function. We're going to talk about that on Tuesday. Right, we could also do, instead of doing a sum, we could do the book's going to call it a difference. And so if I want to come up with f minus g of x, what do you think I do with the two original functions to get that? Subtract them. Separate secretary. Okay, so all pretty basic. One more, of course.
Divide.
Divide. We can do the sum, the difference, the product, and the quotient.
No one likes that.
That is true.
Especially because there's different fractions, but no one likes those even more.
And what thing do we have to be careful of if we're going to divide two functions? What can't happen on the bottom? You can have an x on the bottom. What can't you have on the bottom? Shush. Shush. What can't you have on the bottom of a fraction?
Fraction.
Variable, yeah.
What'd you say? No.
Gabriel, where you at?
No.
An exponent.
I
have no idea. A zero.
Can't equal 0. Okay, can't divide by 0.
I knew that.
Can't divide by 0.
Why do you call
So
it quotient? That's the answer.
it's the same thing.
Alright.
Which we went over in my pre-algebra class yesterday, which I'm teaching for the first time in like 15 years. Got a bunch of 8th graders. They're like 3 feet tall. It's hilarious. All these little tiny kids coming in my class.
Not yet.
What? Really?
I'm only
Yeah, because you and Elliot were talking, so I'm not going to wait for you.
He
But I
was
will.
here.
Oh, yeah, that's another bad excuse.
Thank you.
See, there you go. Forrest, you got it?
I'm done. Gracias.
Okay, so quick example. Yep, f of x is, let's say f of x is x squared. So that's one of our 10 basic functions. Let's say g of x is the square root of x plus 1, which is basically one of the 10 basic functions. It's just,
Plus 1.
yeah, plus 1, which would do what to the graph? Nope.
To the left one.
Nice, to the left
Oh,
one
because
because
it's
it's
in.
inside the square root, yeah. Inside the square root is side to side, but in the opposite direction as you would expect. Okay, so let's figure out what all the things are. What would f plus g of x be?
Oh, so we're like saying what it's gonna do now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should probably write that.
X squared plus square root of x plus 1. Okay? How did you get that?
Okay, good.
Because f of x is x squared, g of x is square root of x plus 1, so if you add them together, what do you know? You get x squared plus square root of x plus 1. If that's confusing for you, you might be in the wrong class.
So do we need to like keep going?
Okay, what's the domain of this function? In other words, what are the possible x values that we can put in and get an answer, Rebecca? Not quite. Not quite. What do we have to watch out for here? You said except for 0 because when we were back here, I said this can't equal 0, right?
Yes.
But are we dividing?
No.
No. So 0 is okay. What's the one thing that we're doing in here that could cause us problems? Square root. What can I not take the square root of? A negative number, unless I use imaginary numbers like you said before, but we're not going to use imaginary numbers. Okay? So what's the smallest number that I can put in here and get an answer? You guys go to the office. What? 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. I can do that. Can I put in 0? 0 plus 1 is 1. I can take the square root of 1, right? I can even do negative 1. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0, and the square root of 0 is 0. Can I do negative 2?
No.
No. Can I do negative 1.5?
No.
Can I do negative 1.1?
No.
Can I do negative 1.01?
No.
Okay, so the only numbers I can do are from negative 1 to infinity. I can use negative 1, but I can't go less than that, and anything bigger than that.
Yeah, how would you so good?
Well, I've only probably drawn like 10,000 of them in my lifetime.
I'm really bad at those as well.
Was that this class that we had that discussion last year?
Yes.
How many times I've written the
How many
letter
are
X? Can't wait to die to find out.
Don't find out what's
Okay, now it's easy. What's f minus g of x?
That was right first. Yes.
Bam, x squared minus square root of x plus
That's
1.
crazy. Do we do domain?
Sure, let's do a domain. Has it changed? No. The only way it would change is if we do some sort of a division. Thanks for pointing that out. Why does this have a square bracket on the left and a round bracket on the right?
Yeah.
It goes all the way.
Okay, because I can put in negative 1. So negative 1 is in the domain, so it gets the square brackets. But I cannot put in infinity because it doesn't actually exist, so it gets a round bracket. So it is an excellent question because that is muy importante. Yes.
Would you like say we're taking a quiz or something like mark
Okay,
that wrong?
we're taking a quiz or something. Sure, I can say.
Trick yeah.
Okay.
Would you like
oh, that wasn't your question? I feel like I answered your question.
Suppose
Okay. All right. I'm supposing.
we're taking a test
Okay.
or a quiz.
All right. I'm visualizing it.
Would you?
I'm at my desk working on my fantasy football team.
And we used a bracket on the left and a bracket on the right for this exact answer.
Would I
you
ring
mark
you
us
up?
wrong? Yeah.
No.
Kind of depends on what we're gonna do.
What if we did?
I would probably just recorrect it
Okay.
and then, not worry about it.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. I'm gonna forget that.
Okay, f times g of x is going to be x squared times the square root of x plus 1.
We always have something to do.
It says so. Can I because this is a square root thingy, so that's totally different. If this was just straight up parentheses, then yeah, you could multiply it through there and get x cubed plus x squared, but it's a square root, so it is different. Domain, same, -1 to infinity. All right, and then the last one, f divided by g of x is,
Really bad, so
It's just the same with division.
it's not.
Is it? Okay.
No, it's not. There's a subtle difference, which is why that's such a great question that Ashley asked. What's f divided by g?
Wait, what question did you actually ask?
Why does this have a square bracket and that one has a
So
round
they're
bracket?
both going to be square brackets?
We'll talk in a second. Well, no, infinity is never a square bracket.
So the one
Because you
left.
can never get to infinity. But let's answer this question first. What is f divided by g of x? X squared over square root of x plus 1. Okay, now, what's the domain of that? It cannot be 0 on the bottom, right? What value of x would make this be 0 on the bottom?
-1.
-1. So now I have to make a round bracket for -1 because I can't equal -1, but I can be anything bigger than that, and then I'm good to go. Okay? That's exciting stuff. Huh? Okay, so on Tuesday we'll talk about the slightly more difficult ones, the composition of functions. You guys remember that probably with the f of g of x, f of g of x. Remember that?
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay, we'll get to that on Tuesday. So for today, what do we have? 15 minutes. What happened?
19 minutes. Go wide.
19. We're out of 10 after. Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Get crazy.
Did I do a bunch
Tokyo.
My goodness. What do you mean you don't have where would you go?
Okay, I know that's not very crazy, but
Nice.
the best I can do. Actually, they have like A, B, C, and D.
Oh, you kidding?
So you gotta do
It's like
the
20.
addition, subtraction, multiplication.
For all of them? Too far.
I think only for 1 through 4. Too crazy, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, see if I can find this page in my book. You want to